Hey guys, it's 4 a.m. I guess I just had a nightmare. In the dream, I was living in some apartment that I don't live in, and she came over and was taking most of the Christmas ornaments. It's like all my fears in one dream. I was upset that she was taking the stuff, and she wasn't. She was just cold and calculated. And I think that gets to the root of the problem. I think the biggest pain in this situation will be that, or the biggest thing I'm anticipating, what's causing me the most pain, is that this process will be really traumatic for me, and she'll just be cold and calculating about it. The process of dismantling the life that we had together is really going to hurt, and she's just going to come in and do it. I think that's what my brain is showing me, because she's already moved on. So this is just a task she has to do. She has to come in and do this work so she can get back to her new life. Whereas this is the life I'm still in. So even though mentally I'm trying to move on, all the things that are around me that are still my life will all of a sudden get picked apart. Good morning. I never really got back to sleep after waking up at 4. I did some reading in my abandonment book, and the chapter I'm into now is talking about abandonment rage and how that's part of the healing process. And I've never been a ragey person, so I'm kind of wondering if that'll even apply to me, or if it'll just happen in a different way. My rage will be more measured in terms of it'll just be me being kind of angry. I mean, definitely when I saw that she booked a trip to French Polynesia for the holidays, I definitely was very upset. And I think I was upset, I think it was like a multi-pronged attack, and that's why it made me upset. It upset me because it made very real the fact that she's future planning without me. It made very real the fact that that was a trip that she and I had wanted to do, and she's doing it with somebody else. And then I think where it got more potent was that I love her family. And I love the holidays with them. And since day one, that's been one of my things. I will so miss Christmas with them. And she's abandoning them on Christmas because she's not getting her way. Because she doesn't feel like everyone's embracing her new change in the way and at the speed at which she wants them to. So she's punishing everyone by going away. And I got really upset on their behalves. They're people I care about. And someone who I know is causing them pain, and she's doing it so far in advance. You know, it's not like it was a spur of the minute thing. It's her saying now, in 4 months from now, screw you guys. I'm not gonna be with you. It doesn't give a chance for healing. It doesn't give a chance for growth. It's punishing them now, and I think it's really juvenile. The weird thing is, by the time this video publishes, we'll probably be past the holidays, and what will happen will have happened, but in the moment, it's very real and very potent. Oh, weird, I just saw a rat run off the sidewalk and into the sewer. I don't see that a lot, almost ever down here. Blah. Cool. It's good that we're a few blocks from the place I'm moving to. Awesome. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be great. I'm not gonna live here forever. It's just gonna be until I figure out my life. All right, that was a nice little walk around. Both dogs. Hey, Winnie. She's tired. Oh, you good little girl. I'm constantly reminded of the self-esteem boost I got from being married. Having a main person just gave me a foundation. I was rock solid, and I sort of had this feeling of no matter what happened in other relationships, in other friendships, it was cool because I had my person, I had my foundation and my base. It was funny the other night when I was hanging out with my barn friends. One of the questions they asked me is, so what kind of woman are you looking for? Which is, it's funny to me because I don't think that way. That's not ever a question. Honestly, that's not really a question I've ever been asked. What kind of woman are you looking for? Well, I'm looking for, someone who's 4'8" with, size 8 feet. It was just weird. And then I thought, am I supposed to actually have an answer to that? So you default to those sort of pat responses of I'm looking for someone who's kind and funny. Hopefully somebody who I find attractive. I just want to be with somebody good. Given how I've changed recently, it would be helpful if they liked horses. Like, you know, talk about adding a constraint. I really like the environment at the barn, and I like riding. I think that's part of this internal annoying fight and struggle is, you know who'd be a good person to be in a relationship? The person I'm married to. She has an interest in horses. She owns her own saddle. She used to own a horse with me. It's annoying because I know what you need to do to succeed in a new relationship is stop comparing to your old relationship. And I'm not past that yet. The only reason that relationship failed is because she dumped my ass. Not because I'm bad, not because we weren't a good pair, but because she didn't want me. Damn it. So the saga continues. I got home this morning and then a series of texts from her came in, as they often do. I wrote her back this morning. That's what it was. We talked about the text she sent in yesterday. So I wrote her back because I was more calm. And she said, could I please let her, inform her of what's going on with the condo? What I wrote back was this. I said, you signed the leasing agreement, so there was no guesswork there. Basically, my first text was a list of 3 points. I said, you signed the leasing agreement. Photography happened when you were recovering from surgery, and the place should be listed this week. Open house to be determined, but a high likelihood that next Sunday there'll be an open house. And her text back, there's so much fear in her response. She was very upset that I staged the house and she didn't have any hand in the staging. And she's worried that there's pictures of her that are going to be put out there that she doesn't want anybody to see. And here are the pictures that were up on the wall. There was the picture of her standing next to the Grand Canyon, which became her Facebook cover image for a while. There was a picture of her in black and white in Ireland when we went to do falconry, but I just have a piece of black tape over her. And then there were our 4 wedding photos that were gorgeous. I don't know if I don't think I actually showed you those pictures. They were the ones that I had taped over. But it causes concern to me in 2 ways. Number 1, she doesn't want a record of us out there that other people can see, such as I'm sure he will see things, like he'll look at the Redfin thing, and other people, and probably his parents will look, and if there were pictures of her wedding stuff up there, that would be embarrassing, I guess. And that hurts a little because I think that they are beautiful pictures, and she's embarrassed and doesn't want people to see them. But also the fact that she thinks that I'm so dumb that I would do that. Like, everybody knows when you stage a place, you don't put personal images out there. Like, you don't stage a place with personal stuff. Like, a new homeowner isn't looking to buy a place where they feel like they're taking it from someone else. That's why staging works the way it does. I'll have you know, I'm really, I saw the photographs came back today from the photographer. My curiosity now is she embarrassed by the pictures? Is she ashamed of that life? What she has done a very successful job of doing is erasing me from her online presence. Gone from Instagram, I'm gone from Facebook. She's created new accounts and wiped me out. It is heartbreaking to have been so loved and then feel so cast away. It hurts. It hurts a lot. I'm no lie there. Like, I was a big deal to her, and then I was nothing overnight or over the course of a romantic several-day trip to Europe that she took with her trainer. She wants to come in this week and itemize the house. She wanted to know if Wednesday would work for me. And I wrote back and I said, Wednesday might not be good. And then I wrote back and I said, well, what time were you thinking? She immediately wrote, why? I'm the only one working. And then she sent another text a little bit later saying, like, I know you just hang around the barn all the time when I'm the one working. So she's hung up on the fact right now that she's working and I'm not, and money stuff. You know what I do for a living? I'm a teacher. I work during the school year. During the summer, there's no school, so I don't teach during the summer. And in all the years I was with her, I never got a summer job. All of a sudden this year, the fact that I'm not working in the summertime seems to be some weird issue for her. Now, I'm some kind of deadbeat because I'm a teacher and I don't have a summer job. It's a funny turn. Like, her attitude is different, so therefore the world is different. Since she feels differently about me, now I'm a loser. That's good fun. That's a feel good from a person that really loved you. And it fires me up. I read the text and I thought, she's really not nice. And I just wanted to respond. You know, I wanted to respond about the staging. Like, I wasn't able to help with the staging, and I wanted to respond and say, haven't you done enough staging? Remember his house when you staged it with stuff from our house? Yeah, I know about that, but I didn't. Because I'm classy? Because I think she doesn't think I know. But I do. I definitely know. I saw it. Everybody knows. And it's just weird to have somebody who used to think you were really smart and clever and witty and great, to have them think you're really dumb and kind of worthless. It's taking a lot of energy on my part to pull back and not let her opinion of me affect me. She used to be the person that affected me most, so it's hard to have her not affect me at all. Never mind, you know, like just decrease the amount of effect she has on me. If you saw the text that went back and just the sort of like, there's no kindness, she isn't nice. She isn't nice to me. To her soulmate, to the love of her life, to the person she took vows with, she's not nice. And I didn't break the relationship, she did. And I keep coming back to that. When she becomes the victim in all this, and you want to be like, you did it! It was you! And it's hard to put into the words the sort of crazy making of it. And when people are like, oh, you would still take her back. I want to make sense of it. I want to understand it so I can put it to bed. I don't want it to be this ticking puzzle in my head that I am forever being like, how did that, what? I still don't get it. So that would probably be the reason I'd want to hang out with her more, to put things to rest, to make sense of it, to understand why she cheated. But of course I can't trust her anymore. So any conversation we had, I wouldn't come away from being like, oh, well, that makes sense. I'd come away from being like, wow, she can lie so quickly. Like, she can weave a tale and believe it, and she could sell me anything. And how much does that suck? I'll tell you, it sucks a lot. It's really just, I don't know. She broke this thing, and all her talk about wanting to be amicable and kind in this process, she doesn't. Talk is cheap. She doesn't demonstrate any of that. She's out for number one. And she's consistently out for number one. You know, she's not nice to me. And she'll never be sorry. Ever. You know? I don't believe we'll ever make amends. She'll never. I think that tearful happening in the Mercedes after mediation, when she was crying and said she's so sorry, I think that's the closest I'll probably ever get to her. To the old her, the her that was married to me. That's the closest I'll ever get to connecting with her. After an hour of intense talk and chemistry and connection and banter and barter and just an hour of togetherness hacking away at it, there was a little crack in the surface. And I saw a little bit of the old version of her. And then it just as quickly went away. I don't imagine I'll see that again. It was either a manipulation still, or maybe she was embarrassed that it came out and will be even more walled off and more guarded. And she'll use anything I do now as fresh cement to add to the wall she has up so that she doesn't crack again. It hurts. It's strange that she's living this life. It's strange she won't tell me if she's moving. Like, it's weird. And I don't think I will be here. She wants to come in Wednesday and itemize the condo, and I don't think I'll be here. I don't think it's good for me. I don't think I need to be here. My goal by Wednesday is to have my personal stuff out, even if it's just temporarily stored at school. And then she could come in and she can nose around, she can look through whatever. Yeah. I just read her last text to me, and it said, I'm very aware that you spend most of your time hanging around the barn. Great. Thanks for pointing that out. Ooh, you're like Sauron, many spies with many eyes. Of course you do, because your real estate agent, the one that sold his house, is a flippin' spy. She reports back that she's seen me there. Super. Great. You know what you haven't told me and what I'm very aware of? That your stupid boyfriend is bringing horses in. And what would be respectful? To let me know. But no. Because that doesn't suit her. And that's the crazy making part of this whole thing. Her ego or her self-involvement just appears to be so massive. And in that same text she said, she's aware that I spend most of my time hanging around the barn. And that's a little, that's just kind of rude to say. I know you're not doing much, you're just hanging around the barn. And then she goes on to say that she's trying to be respectful of my time, but she needs to come in Wednesday at a time that works for her. And then she says, let me know if you plan to be there or not. Oh no, let me know if you'll be there. If not, that's fine. This is the same girl who a couple texts before, when I said, do you have a plan do you know when you're moving north? She responded by saying, I'm not telling you about my personal life. So why would I tell her when I'm gonna be around the condo or not? If I don't need to be there. She wants a level of respect and courtesy from me that she won't give back. She wants all her stuff to be a secret, and I get it. I was thinking back to when we were first friends, and like Gchat was a really big part of our collective lives. When she was on Gchat, she'd always be invisible, so you couldn't tell if she was online or not. But she would reach out to you if she wanted to talk to you. And it feels like the same thing now. She wants to hold the power in that. And ultimately, it's like, what does it matter? Okay, so you don't want people reaching out to you on Gchat. You don't want pictures of your wedding on the internet. You don't want me to know where you're gonna live. Like, nobody cares. Honestly, you're not that big a deal. Nobody cares. I wanna know when you're moving so I can be free of you. I mean, I'd love to know the hows and whys of buying a horse barn, of course, but I just want you to go away. I want to be able to come and go without dealing with you, without seeing your boyfriend at the barn. I want to do whatever I want to do. She has lectured other people about removing toxic people from her life. People whom I know who are not toxic people. So then you think, I think you're protesting a little too much. I think you are the toxic one, and most of us need to remove you from our lives. I'm a little energized right now, so I sound positive, and I'm sure that after I see her, if I see her Wednesday, I'm going to try really hard not to, that I will sink and I will be bad and I will miss her, because we all know me. We know my ups and downs of what I think about and what I do, and that I try really hard, but I still make bad choices sometimes. It's just part and parcel of this crappy situation. But when I'm free of her, I think I will be better. Or I will start the healing process. Seeing those texts today gave me more of a sense of her really skewed perspective and her potential not wellness. And I realized I probably can't say that in the future, but her perspective is strange. Her whole guardedness, her whole secretiveness, it just feels like she's ashamed of the life that we had. But maybe it just doesn't work for the success of the love bombing she's doing to him. The day I talked to him, this was before I was recording these videos, but I did have a meeting with him on the grassy knoll. It was when I went to the barn to see Rick, the horse, before he left. I think it's been a while since I talked about that day. But basically it was this. We still had the horse, and it was shortly after she broke up with me. So my life just felt like a shattered mirror. I was absolutely destroyed. Not sleeping, not eating, really not being great at my job. Just in a bad place. The little bit of comfort or happiness I could get would be to go to the barn and see the horse. I could hug the horse. I could love the horse and know that she loved the horse, and it was some kind of connection. I could love something she loved, and I felt something. I felt close to her in some weird way. And I was having a day where I wanted to see the horse, and I thought he might be there training. He might be there working. I had this epiphany of, no, I'm not going to let my fear of seeing him keep me from seeing the horse. I have every right to be there. I have every right to see the horse. Our family pays the money to keep him there. So I went, and lo and behold, he was there. He walked up the barn aisle to me, and I looked at him and I said, hey man. And he asked me if I wanted to go somewhere and talk. So I said, okay. So, I followed him outside, and we were going to drive to a Starbucks. And he went and got in his car, and I went to get in my car. And as I was getting in my car, that's when his girlfriend, or his, I guess, ex-girlfriend at that time, came up to me, and we had our first conversation. And that's when I exchanged numbers with her, because she was as confused by this. Basically, her boyfriend and my wife got together on this trip, and neither of us saw it coming, and were confused and wanted to talk more and confer. And the fact that I talked to her and got her number sent my wife into a frenzied rage. Like crazy. She went bonkers and was gonna get a lawyer and divorce me, and a really aggressive rage. Yeah, that was nuts. Why did I get into this story? Oh, because as part of that frenzied rage, I agreed not to go back to the barn anymore. I agreed not to, that I wouldn't go to where I knew he would be. And I thought on some level I would get the same respect in return. I don't go to his barn, he doesn't go to my barn, we don't have to see each other. But he's gone to my barn because he has sales clients there. So I've gotten to see him those pleasurable times that I've told you about. And now he's bringing horses in, and neither he nor her told me about it. And that does feel like the big fat middle finger being waved in my face. They know right now. She knows right now. So she's lecturing me about stuff, and all the things she's saying about amicability and friendliness, and doesn't understand why I'm ghosting her. She's being terrible. There's no question. Like, she's being really bad. And I struggle. I struggle because I still don't get it, and I feel like I deserve better, and I'll never get better. And every interaction we have gets worse and worse. Her treatment of me, her making herself the victim, every part of it sinks and gets worse, and makes me more of a bad guy and her more of a victim. Okay, that's enough. That's enough for now. The problem with working in the shop by myself is I get alone with my thoughts. And I think, and I just started to kind of obsess about, I wanted to write her back and say something. I wanted to, sort of like a couple months ago, I just wanted to write back and be like, hey, don't you remember me? Don't you remember loving me and talking to me with kindness when every text didn't come with a built-in threat? The whole reason we're here right now is you. I didn't do anything. But I have this powerless feeling that no matter what I say to her, I'm not going to change the way she acts towards me. It's like she's had a change of brain. She loves him and stopped loving me. And as a byproduct of not loving me, it's easier to make me a bad guy. And it's just a multifold insult. I'm not a bad guy. I'm really nice. And, oh God, had she treated me with decency through this process, it probably could have ended so much more amicably. But since it's been devoid of respect at all, we're here now. And it's not me being vicious, it's just me being broken and needing to watch out for myself. I'm doing nothing willfully against her. To be a good guy, which I am, but thought of and accused of being a bad guy, which I'm not, by the person who knows for sure that you're a good guy, makes it feel crazy. Not that I ever doubt, like, am I actually a bad guy? But it definitely undermines, like, how good I used to feel. If she can go from thinking I was so good to so bad, did she ever actually think I was that good? Or conversely, does she actually not think I'm that bad, but is projecting that just to make it easier for her to dislike me? The psychology of this situation is baffling. I know we'll never be friends because she never goes back to a previous relationship. Ever. So, my thinking I'm special in her world, I no longer feel that way. When she gets what she wants from me, she will go. So then you stop and think, could it ever be saved? Could the relationship ever come back? And how does that conversation go? Part of me right now says, yes, but it would be a completely different relationship. It would be so much more guarded, and I wouldn't trust her, and blah, blah, blah. And that would be the permission I'd give myself to let the relationship happen. To because I need closure, because I need to be in the relationship with some control, because when it ended, I had none. So I would allow the relationship to happen so that I could exercise some of those things and make peace with it. but I think ultimately that would also be the undoing, because I don't see how you can enter back into a relationship that existed in your mind so positively and powerfully for 7 years and think on some level it's not going to slip back to old patterns. I think that's unrealistic. Then you think, well, if it did slip back into old patterns, could you handle that? I doubt it. It's really a case of, it sucks that we're here in the first place. She ruined it. She ruined something beautiful. And that will be her legacy with me. We had something incredible, and she disrespected it and ruined it. And because of the way she handled it, every other memory we have together is tainted. And that's tragic. My wedding is my favorite day ever. I love that day. It was a perfect day. So lucky to be marrying my best friend and all that. And now I look back and I'm like, I was so happy and so invested. Was she? Is it as symmetrical as I thought it was? Or was she always holding something back? What are you thinking? Should we go outside? Do you want to go to school? Should we go? Should we go? Who's a good girl? I've recorded a lot today. I think I'm a little desperate just in terms of a contact with people thing. I enjoyed very much being at the horse show because there was constantly people and constantly stimulus, and I've been a lot more alone today, and I don't thrive alone. I fought the urge to text her some snippy things and some sentimental things because, frankly, I just don't think she'd care. It's like I can't get this one concept in my head. The concept that she no longer loves you. Like I keep fighting it, and I keep, even though logically I know all of it. My brain that keeps chewing on this problem, my brain keeps thinking, maybe there's some combination of things I could say and do that would fix it. Underlying, there is still some of that. Some of me is like, it's just a stubbornness because it still doesn't make sense, and because I'm perpetually hopeful, even though I know it's dangerous. Like, there's some small percentage of my brain that's like, maybe there's a solution. Maybe there's a fix. The one thing we talk about in therapy is like, you can't control your first thought, but you can control your second thought. That compulsion comes in my brain, and I work very hard to just like let it go. But to you, like talking to you, I'm recognizing, I'm just being honest with you. Like, it's still there. 5 months later, like it's been 5 months. God, when I first started recording these, I was counting it in weeks, right? You know, it was like, I started in April. You know, I think I was at the 5 week mark, I think. Maybe 4 weeks, I don't remember. But, you know, I would be saying like, 5 weeks ago, she did this thing to me. And now literally, it's 5 months. It's probably a day or two past 5 months. And my brain is still fighting it. It's still chewing on it. It still can't make sense of it. What I'm trying to learn from this for others, for the future, is there's not necessarily a timeline that works for everyone. 5 months. It's been 5 months. And I don't know if this is a compelling video. Like I'm so curious if, you know, on the date when I release this video, if anyone will still be watching, if there will be any sort of interest in this story, or maybe it's not even a story, just interest in my experience. Like, am I a nice enough person where people are like, I care about him? Or are people going to be like, you suck? What I'm taking from this, in terms of something I can take from it going forward to be nice to other people, is there's no timeline that works for everyone. You know, I have this nagging pet fear now that I should be getting over this. You know, I should be sort of done. And I can tell you very honestly, I'm not even close. Will I be able to rent a place and live on my own devoid of her? Yes, yeah, I'll be able to do that. But my heart is heavy all of the time. I think about her all of the time, and I wonder about her and what she's doing. She's forever in my thoughts, and that is hard. I mean, that's what made me a good husband when we were married, because I was always thinking about her, always making sure she was okay, and considering what she needed and what would help her and what would make her happy, and what things I could do to surprise her or delight her or help her. That's who I am. That's how I operate. I really enjoy helping people feel good, helping them feel productive, helping them feel happy. I like making people laugh. I like having inside jokes with people that you can just call up but randomly is huge. And that's so rewarding to know someone well enough and long enough that you have a series of jokes with them. I love that. And what sucks now is I've got 7 years of really great jokes with her, and just references and experiences that I could draw from that won't be meaningful to anybody else, so they'll die. And that one hurts, because it's over.